Good, happy Saturday morning, March 30th, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, suspicious death in Bristol under investigation. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Jessica Moran.
Join us for great spring savings at Quick Buick GMC in Manchester. Lease a new 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali Crew Cab for $475 a month. Quick saves you up to $15,500. GMC, we are professional grade.
All that we can share at this point in time is that an adult male is deceased, and we're actively investigating that situation.
The New Hampshire Attorney General's office providing little details about the investigation into the suspicious death at 76 Summer Street in Bristol. Sources tell News 9 authorities were called to the multi-family home just before 2 Friday afternoon for an altercation involving a gun. The AG's office is not ready to confirm those details.
It's still very early in the investigation, and we withhold information because we want to make sure we get the fullest and most accurate information from people who we yet to have interviewed, because it's very early in that process. So that's why we do that.
Authorities are saying there is no need for the public to be concerned.
No general threat to the public. Obviously, when there is a death and it's under suspicious circumstances, people should have some caution with respect to that, but that's no different than other cases.
While the AG's investigation is in the early stages, they say they've identified everyone they need to speak with regarding the case.
Investigators are actively speaking to people, and we know who to speak to at this point in time, but if anybody believes they have information, they're free to call the Bristol Police Department.
Again, an autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. Now, the Attorney General's office says they're not ready to identify the man, as they're still identifying next of kin. In Bristol, Jessica Moran, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Several road closures, detours in place in Manchester this weekend. Police are closing roads for a number of events in Manchester this weekend. Traffic will be heavily affected on Elm Street, Canal Street, Chestnut Street, and the surrounding areas on Saturday, March 30th and Sunday, March 31st. On Saturday, the Citizens Bank Shamrock Half Marathon and the NCAA Ice Hockey Championships are being held in the city. On Sunday, the New England Reptile Expo, the Citizens Bank Shamrock Shuffle, and the annual Manchester St. Patrick's Day Parade are taking place. Police are urging drivers to use extra caution in the area. There will be several road closures and thousands of pedestrians. Officials suggest taking a different route if possible. Delays are expected on I-293 at exit 5 and 6 all weekend long. Identities released of 2 found dead after hotel standoff. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton and Monica Hernandez.
Join us for great spring savings at Quick Buick GMC in Manchester. Lease a new 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali Crew Cab for $475 a month. Quick saves you up to $15,500. GMC, we are professional grade.
More than 48 hours after the first shots rang out, this room at the Quality Inn remains a crime scene. It was the center of a 14-hour standoff with police that ended with 3 people dead. The medical examiner revealing Friday 51-year-old Stephen Marshall died from multiple gunshot wounds. Officers say they shot him when he came through a first-floor window Wednesday night holding a semi-automatic handgun as a Manchester police officer and DEA agents arrived to serve him a warrant. 26-year-old Christian St. Cyr and 21-year-old Brandy Tarantino were found dead the next morning inside that room after at least one of them fired rounds at officers for hours throughout the night.
Each and every one of those officers has a family, and I'll tell you, reality hits quick when you have bullets flying. And when you hear officers yelling that there's shots fired on the radio.
Manchester Police Chief Carlo Capano says his officers are mentally and physically drained, but he's thankful they're all safe.
The outreach and support that we've received after yesterday's event has been tremendous. I can't thank the community enough for that.
We're still waiting to learn how St. Cyr and Tarantino died. The Attorney General says neither had gunshot wounds or internal injuries. Toxicology results could take weeks. All 3 involved have criminal histories, mostly nonviolent, mostly related to drugs.
We become more than just law enforcement. We're social workers. We help a lot more in other areas that we never used to cover.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Non-opiate drug ketamine now stocked on all AMR ambulances in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Gene Mackin.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
It's a welcome option during the opioid crisis. Ketamine is now stocked on all of AMR's advanced life support ambulances as a non-opioid painkiller or sedative.
It was actually a shortage of ketamine nationwide, which delayed our project a little bit, but we were able to complete it. It's out there today.
Ketamine can be administered as a shot, nasal spray, and sometimes IV form. As a controlled substance, it can only be used by a paramedic with approval of a doctor. It is considered effective to subdue patients under the influence of drugs like meth who might be a danger to themselves and first responders, and for patients in recovery. It's a non-opioid painkiller choice that does not depress the respiratory system.
It's a drug that's used for pain control. We've actually had people specifically ask us not to give them narcotics when they're in a significant amount of pain from injury because they're recovering opioid folks. So this gives us the opportunity, the tool in the tool belt to manage their pain effectively and not give them opioids to do that.
With this addition, American Medical Response says ketamine is now on board all of its advanced life support ambulances in the 911 service areas in New Hampshire. In Nashua, Gene Mackin, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Crews battle 3-alarm fire in Alton. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Savings at Quirk Chevrolet in Manchester. Lease the all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab just $285 a month. Quirk saves you up to $9,000. Chevrolet, find new roads.
breaking news in Alton. Crews are on the scene at this hour of this house fire. Right now, details are limited, but dispatchers did confirm that the 3-alarm blaze is a home on Main Street. You can see that fire there through the window, heavy smoke. The crews have been on the scene for more than 2 hours now. No word yet on if anyone was inside or if there are any injuries. Of course, we will bring you the latest information as soon as it comes in.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And adopt a pet. Are you looking to adopt a dog or anything? Take a look at adopt this pet video. Brooke is the dog name. Take a look.
Join us for great spring savings at Quirk Chevrolet in Manchester. Lease the all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab just $285 a month. Quirk saves you up to $9,000. Chevrolet, find new roads.
So if you're looking for a new pet and a dog, why don't you adopt Brock? Cutie. Sweet and cute little dog. Trump cuts all direct assistance to Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. In a stunning fact about State Department officials said that President Donald Trump is cutting off all direct assistance to so-called Northern Triangle countries of El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. Dumbo review. Tim Burton remake is too dark over the top. And it opened on Friday, yesterday. Let's take a look at that review from Sandy Kenyon from ABC Eyewitness News in New York City.
Not getting enough cash back with that credit card? Turn to the nerds. Want to invest that bonus? Turn to the nerds. Looking for the perfect mortgage? Turn to the nerds. Oops. Sorry about that. Hey there. Need a travel rewards card? Turn. Auto loan? 2. Want a lower interest rate? The nerds. The experts at NerdWallet make it easy to make smart money moves. Compare credit cards, mortgages, savings accounts, and more at nerdwallet.com.
Disney's Dumbo is back on the big screen. The original, you may recall, came out decades ago. This one, though, is a new live-action version of the animated classic. So does this adaptation live up to the hype? Eyewitness News entertainment reporter Sandy Kenyon here with his review. Sandy?
Diana, the original Dumbo was released so long ago in 1941, and the cartoon ran only about an hour. So director Tim Burton is free to completely reimagine a new version, a live-action version, as you mentioned, and filter the story through his own unique sensibility. That is to say, make it slightly weird and quite dark. Colin Farrell returns to a circus where he was once a star. But having lost an arm in battle, he's hired back after World War I to take care of the elephants. And while he's been away, his kids have suffered through the death of his wife, their mom. So the movie begins on a downbeat. The boss of the circus, played with great gusto by Danny DeVito, is determined to keep it running and thinks an elephant he has just bought will help. Soon, Mrs. Jumbo gives birth to a baby that comes to be called Dumbo.
He doesn't look like magic to me.
The idea such a creature could fly merely because he is born with big ears is preposterous, of course, but the special effects are convincing enough. The idea he soars after breathing in a feather makes it seem somewhat more probable and injects a will he or won't he be able to fly note of uncertainty.
Fly, little one.
Michael Keaton plays it very broad as an evil impresario determined to make money from Dumbo. He buys the circus and orders his girlfriend, an aerialist played by Eva Green, to fly with the little guy.
For the record, this was not my idea. Dumbo works alone.
So do I.
All this leads up to a big finish that could be quite scary for young kids and was way too over the top for me. Parents will tell you there really are not enough movies for kids aged about 9 or 10 to 12. This one is just for them, a film tweens can call their own. Dumbo is from Disney, owned by the same parent company as ABC7.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that review. And it looks like a good movie. And I'll be going to see it this weekend tomorrow with my mom. And now let's talk about some events happening today in New Hampshire. Charming Fair Farms Maple Express begins at 10:30 a.m. in Candia, New Hampshire. Patterns in Wood works by the New Hampshire Furniture Masters at 8:30 a.m. in Concord, New Hampshire. Sketch Comedy Class 2019 at New Hampshire Theatre Project at 5 o'clock p.m. in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Restaurant Week Spring in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. New Hampshire Craft Beer Week in Concord, New Hampshire at 11 o'clock a.m. Comedian Bob Marley, 5 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. in Manchester, New Hampshire. Basket Weaving Class with Ray, Group 1 at 9 o'clock a.m. in Meredith, New Hampshire. Maple Sugaring Season Families, 10 o'clock a.m. in Laconia, New Hampshire. Hammer and Stain Pick Your Project, 6 p.m. in Bedford, New Hampshire. Carbon Counts Understanding Your Carbon Footprint at 10 o'clock a.m. in Holderness, New Hampshire. Lakes Region Spring Craft Fair, 10 o'clock a.m. in Belmont, New Hampshire. Citizen Bank Shamrock Half Marathon and Rally at 9 o'clock a.m. in Manchester, New Hampshire at Veterans Park. LMF Free Computer Clinic, 9 o'clock a.m. in Merrimack Public Library. Story time, Concord Public Library, Heights Branch at 9:30 a.m. Slim at 9:30 a.m. at Laconia Public Library. The 2018-2019 Winter's Farmers Market, 10 o'clock a.m. at Cole's Garden. Maple Sugaring at Prescott Farm Environmental Education Center at 10 o'clock a.m. Creative Computering Challenge, Sea Science Center at 10 o'clock a.m. And Spring Castleberry Farm Arts and Craft Festival, 10 o'clock a.m. at Shrine Auditorium. And those are all the events happening here in New Hampshire, and that's it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.